Yo ho ho, what's going on everybody? This is Hunter. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Today I have Sabre's newest bunk model here. So this is one I haven't even seen before. This will be something new. Funky little setup. It is pretty darn cool. It's the 2023 Sabre 350BH. And if you guys are looking for information like awning size, tank sizes, length, weight, height, all that stuff, you can find that down in the description of this video, along with my contact information. I am in a sales position here at RV Nation, and you know, I'd love the opportunity to talk to you if you guys are in the market. But if you guys like RV videos or like what I'm doing here, if you guys wouldn't mind, hit that like and subscribe button for me. I am so freaking excited for personal reasons. About to hit 10,000 subscribers. And if you guys have watched my videos before, I've been leading up to this day for a long time. Year's goal finally hit. Feels super nice. But I'm celebrating with the 2023 Sabre 350BH. And this is a bunk model. It's also got the new 2023 Sabre decor. So they went away with the dark tones, the dark woods, and introduced kind of this, you know, wood block look to it. And it is going over pretty darn well. It is a very high volume seller for us, and it's a brand that I personally love. You know, it's right in that sweet spot for price where you're not breaking the bank, but you're not losing out as far as options and quality, things of that nature. But since this is a bunk model, figured I'd start in the bunk and then kind of work my way up to the front. But this is a bath and a half model as well. So in this bunk room, you will see that you get a half bath. So that is pretty cool. Show you off that bowling arm. Let's go, baby. Had a rough night last night, but that's okay. You can't win them all. But you get yourself a little half bath. It's kind of a get her done style half bath, but enough space to move around, kind of do what you got to do. It also has pretty good head height in here. You know, so if you're a little taller, yeah, I don't know. I don't know why I said that, but you can stand in the bathroom. I'm 6 feet tall. Ceiling's probably about, 9. You get yourself a little window that opens up. You're also going to see you get a little mirror here. Hello, hope you're having a good day. Get a little storage. Get yourself a little sink. And then underneath here, you have some additional storage and then access to your plumbing there behind that panel. So that's nice, making it really nice and easy for you. You also have an outlet, and this is where you can check your pumps as well. So or not your pumps, your tank levels. So your gray tank and your black tank, with the click of a button, it tells you the levels. So that's pretty nice to have. Over on this side, this is going to be your light switch, and then the fan on and the vent open buttons are right here for that right there. So you can keep the fan kind of circulating. You can open it up, kind of get a nice little breeze going in. Really nice, high, tall slide. So I'm 6 feet tall for reference. So I love how they introduced this back to the bunk room. Usually the bunk rooms don't get love with things like, the tall slides. It allows you to have a little window here. That's also doubles up an emergency exit in case you need to get out, pretty quickly. You also get a sofa back here, which is pretty darn unique. And the slide gives you, a surprisingly amount of floor space back here as well for, doing some activities or just chilling on a rainy day. The kids won't be driving you nuts. This does open up and fold out as well, so you do have an additional spot to sleep, 2 kids, maybe an adult or 2 as well. Another window with an emergency exit. It also has a blind that comes down, so just like that. 2 USB ports and 2 outlets. Get a little bit of storage right there. And then you get your 2 bunk beds, which right now the ladder is strapped up in kind of that go mode. But you can see they're the double wide teddy bear top, so really nice and comfortable. 300-pound limit right there and right there. And then this ladder is strapped in, but essentially you just put it right here, kick it out so you can crawl up and get easy access. And then underneath the bunk, you do get a fair amount of storage here, too, to put, some clothes or, blankets, whatever it is that you want to store. No wasted space here in this Sabre. So this bunk room, as small as it is, you do get a ton of storage. This is going to be for some hanging items. You get yourself a little window there above the bunks. And then what I like too is the positioning here of the AC. So there's going to be 2 ACs on this unit. One in the front and one in the back. This one right here, if you want this back room to cool down in a hurry, there is a dump valve, which you'll see right there. You can open that up, and it'll unevenly distribute the air to this room. So that's nice, you know, at night, kind of cool things down a little faster. Or you can leave it closed, and it'll keep everything nice and even as it spits it through the H-track system that this is on. So you get LED lights here running across the top. You can toggle those on and off as you please, but that's nice for a little bit of a, you know, ambient glow when you're getting up at night, you know, trying to get a snack or have some gas. You don't want the, you know, the blinding light while you're watching a movie. Over on this slide, this is going to be kind of your, you know, your seating slide. So you have your dinette with the 2 chairs in the booth, or in the, I guess they call it a booth. That'll be okay. But that does flip up for a little bit of storage. And then right here, you get your power recliners. Or I'm sorry, I misspoke. They're not power recliners. There is a pull tab right here to kick them out. But they are power in terms of, you know, you can turn on the accent lighting, a vibrate mode, and a heat mode. And there's separate controls on both sides as well. Directly across from the theater seating, I like where they positioned this. So this is kind of an awkward floor plan for a TV, but I think they did a pretty good job, you know, to kind of compromise where they would put that. So you have your Sansui TV, really nice, really large. It also is on a swivel, so if you're at the dinette and you're sitting down, you can pull it out and kick it out, so that way you can still comfortably, you know, watch a show. You also get your electric fireplace right down there. Puts out 5,500 BTUs of heat. Has a couple different coloring modes, so you can set the mood just right. There's going to be a red, orange, blue, and a white. You also get some storage here up above with kind of that checkered, you know, kind of design, that little diamond design right there. But that's all going to be one piece. Nothing too deep or too crazy, but just somewhere, you know, you can put a couple items. And I like this little backsplash that they put in here. I think it's looking, you know, pretty fancy. See if I can get in there a little bit. But yeah, just a little storage for you here above the TV. Another thing I want to point out again is going to be the slide height. So I'm 6 feet tall. I'd put that somewhere around, you know, 6'3", 6'4", something like that. But what that allows you to do is, one, not bonk your head when you're sitting down in the recliner or the dinette. But more importantly, you get these massive open windows. So if you guys have a good view, this is a killer option for you. They're also going to come with the zebra shades, so you can partially block out the sun or fully block out the sun. These 2 big back windows, they do open up, and they are tinted with that mirror glass finish. And I'll show you a little bit more about that when we go on the outside portion of the tour. That is new for the 2023, you know, along with the different decor. But this is going to be the zebra shade. So partially opened, get your Dracula on, block out all the sun. And then I was reminded in a comment, I accidentally whipped that a little fast. They recommended going a little slower for people that maybe have some issues with kind of the flashing light. So swing it around. Oh, you also get a clicker light right here. Looking pretty fancy. Got yourself that little, whatever you want to call that little rope knob decor that's looking oh so nice. Island kitchen model, and you'll see it does not inhibit you from walking around, you know, one bit. There is still plenty of floor space to move around on both sides. You get 2 outlets and 2 USBs to plug in your devices. Some LED lights here underneath. Solid surface countertop. Babe, if you're watching, I love you. Hope you're having a wonderful day. The farm style stainless steel sink. It's going to be the black stainless steel, so I know there's a lot of you guys that are big fans of that, you know, myself included. But then you also have your high-rise faucet. You can pull it out, doing those dishes from all angles. And then with all the islands, you get great storage. So you're going to have 3 of these looking just like that. There's going to be one of your welcoming packets and your controllers. And then here underneath, a lot of good storage, again, with some access to your plumbing. So pretty nice little island. You also get some accent here as well. Above the island, you got whatever they call that little block thing, looking nice. You also get those little fancy rope doodads again. And then swing it around. You see that they got 2 windows here up top. You know, again, keep some of that natural light. You also have a fan. And then this slide is going to be kind of your cooking slide. So you have your absolutely massive residential style Everchill refrigerator. This is also a smart refrigerator, so you can just push right there. And keep in mind, this is running off of the solar right now. All of these lights, the refrigerator, everything just off of the solar. You know, so it's really nice to have a 12-volt refrigerator that is a little bit more versatile. Let's see here. Where is this hooked in? There you go. But right there, definitely big enough, you know, for a weeks-long trip, you know, no problem, especially if it's just kind of an extended weekend. So with all those kiddos, you definitely need a refrigerator that's big enough to support the trip. Let me unsnap these safety knobs right there. And then you're going to have two freezer sections. So you have this first top pull out. And then you got this bottom pull out that's kind of partitioned in the middle, you know, to help you organize a little bit. Swing it along just to the left, you're going to have an oven and yourself a microwave. This is going to be the Contour microwave. So nice and big, like one you'd find in your home. And then you got a little bit of storage here up above. And a little bit more to the left. New backsplash for the 2023. You're also going to find that you get an outlet again. Solid surface countertops. If you guys want to pause it here, on the old Sweet 16, it goes over, you know, some of the features, you know, in this model. And then you have your Greystone oven. So it's going to be a 3 stovetop burner. So cook up all the fixings for a good dinner. And then the microwave, it's not the biggest, but it's not the smallest. You can cook up a pizza or some of those, you know, little Cornish hens if you want to get fancy. That's going to be the tray there for the microwave, but a big pull-out drawer. You know, maybe put some pots and pans or whatever you need. Over here, you're going to have 3 drawers. The top 2 are both going to be this size. And the bottom one is going to be just a little bit deeper. Another thing I love about this model is you're going to get 2 different pantries. So you have one right here and one right there. Really helps for all the storage. Problems in bunk models always seem to revolve around storage. And this one you do get a pretty decent amount, especially when you consider, you know, all that was in the bunk room. All right. Now as we head moving forward, this is going to be, you know, your other pantry. Then underneath there is going to be some access for some maintenance. Again, that fancy pants looking glass. Nice little design to it. Got yourself a little countertop action going on. 2 outlets, 2 USB ports, and then you got plenty of storage here underneath. The top drawer is going to be the small one on this side. And then the bottom 2 are going to be just a little bit larger. And if you guys have made it this far, if you don't mind hitting that like and subscribe button for me, you know, I would greatly appreciate it if you guys hung around for another video or 2. And I do take, you know, any type of recommendations for what kind of camper you guys want. You know, I take them seriously. I try to do them the best I can. About 3 days ago, I was asked for a toy hauler. So I went out that night and did a toy hauler. Just trying to better my family. You know, sell a few extra campers, help out a couple folks, make a couple bucks off of YouTube, and, you know, kind of move on with my day. So this is your main entry. You're going to have your fuse box right there. So if something isn't working, check your fuse box. It should light up nice and glowing for you. So that way you can see what's going on. You have yourself a grab handle to help you get up the stairs. And then this is going to be your thermostat for your heat and your AC. And you can see running at 10.7 volts off of the solar. Your water pump, all your different tank levels. So battery, fresh tank, black tank, gray tank 2. And then this is going to be your control panel for pretty much everything. So, you know, you got your different devices, the awning, the leveling, lighting, slides, you know, settings. You can check all your diagnostics, you know, all that stuff right there. And then help. So if you don't know what you're doing, you can't figure something out. Oh, went through. They have how-to and they have troubleshooting as well. So a really helpful resource for you, you know, all right there. So really thoughtful that they put that in. That's going to be in the LCI, which a lot of Forest River brands, you know, are using. Another window, again, has the, trying to go nice and slow, The zebra shades, which is essentially a all-in-one, day and night shade. Decent sized bathroom in here. So you get yourself a sink with some storage here underneath. Access to the plumbing. Outlet, couple lights. Handsome guy in the mirror. Again, that bowling arm. You get a fan here up top to help kind of circulate some of that steam or the stink, whatever it is that you're doing. Foot flush toilet. It is going to be a porcelain throne. This is where you're going to control your Furrion hot water heater. That thing starts at, I think it's 111 degrees, so you can adjust the temperature, to what you like. I like my showers a little colder. I think that 111 is just a little excessive, but different folks, you can kind of pick and choose what you want, I suppose. So Tri-Glide glass series says there's 3 different panes of glass. Just gives you a little bit more of an open area, to kind of get in and into the shower. And as a bigger guy, I'm happy for that. Otherwise, it'd just be right down the middle, kind of a tight squeeze. But good sized shower. Got a place to sit down, let the hot water hit you. Yeah. And your shower nozzle right there, which should be, let me go ahead and put that up. You just attach, right there, good to go. Bedroom. It's not the largest bedroom, but it's definitely not the smallest. Get yourself a good sized bed. And I forgot to turn on the 2 clicker lights up here, but you do get this little shelf that's got a couple outlets and then some USB ports so you can charge up your devices while you're sleeping. You also have windows to the left and right that both open up for a nice cross breeze. Got yourself a speaker here above the bed, and this is going to be your second AC on this unit. So again, much like the one in the bunk room, open up the dump valve if you want it all direct going in here, keeping things nice and cool, or if you want to evenly distribute it, through the camper. This is going to be your thermostat for here in the bedroom, your light switch. Got yourself a couple more outlets. Swing it around, you got an area for your TV backer. So there's going to be a little wooden plate back there so you can hang up a TV, put it on a swivel, do what you want to do, watch some movies. Cable hookup, outlet, another speaker. And then this is going to be your dresser. So there's going to be 3 drawers with a little bit of countertop space. Those are what those 3 drawers are going to be looking like. To the left of the dresser, you have another window. It's also an emergency exit, so you pull, push, and pop, and you can get out. You also have a blind. And then right here is your closet, and it's got a pretty good closet space to it. So you have this top-like little shelf, to store whatever it is that you want to do. You got washer and dryer prep over there to the left. A lot of good space, especially with that back cubby there. I'm guessing they probably got the Rhino box hitch due to the size of this. But that's going to be your dryer vent location along with your plug-in. And then behind here, actually just to give it easier access, you can open that up, and that's where you'd put your washer along with your connections for it. So the hot water and cold water, and all that. So pretty cool little model. But again, this is Sabre's newest model. It's the 2023 Sabre 350BH. I think this thing is going to be a big hit. It's the first one we've had here. And, I love it. I'm going to give you one more quick look here on the inside. And then I'm going to go around the outside and show you some things that I think are pretty cool, like the outside kitchen. And this thing actually has incredible storage, as well. And then, man, I'm a big fan of this bunk room. And remember, it's got that half bath back here. All right, but one last time. 2023 Sabre 350BH. And if you like it, make sure to, text or email me. I'd love to talk to you a little bit more serious about some pricing. All right, so here we got on the outside. And as you can see, what I was talking about with the with the mirrored glass finish. If it shows up well on the camera, it is pretty bright, but it has a kind of a mirrored glow to it, so you can't really see in, you know, but you can see out. There it goes. That's a good reflection right there. But what it does is it kind of gives you like a sunglass effect where it protects you, you know, from the UV rays. And it mainly it helps keep the furniture lasting a little bit longer. In this model, it's not so much of a big hitter since it only has that one couch there. But usually the killer to furniture on an RV is going to be that sun beating down on it, and it'll fade it, crack it, you know, peel it, you know, all that kind of stuff. So this is the route that a lot of the industry is going. The Arctic Wolf already made the change, and I think that's, you know, a lot of people are going to start copying them. So electric leveling, propane behind this door, pretty impressive pass-through storage, and there is a massive storage here in the back of the camper. But I do love how they put the linoleum flooring here underneath and here in an often forgotten place. And, you know, a lot of your entry-level campers, they'll just be kind of barren wood. They even wrap up the front so that way there's no exposed wood there. As you can see, it's got that black wrap on it. And then, if you can see under there, if I can get you a good angle, it is welded at all points too, which is very nice. Gives you a nice little more secure, you know, kind of ride, I suppose. Helps out with the longevity. 2 outlets, cable control. Oh, didn't turn on the lights, but there is an LED strip here underneath. And then this, you twist that off. And let's say if you're running like a power cord or something to a TV, you know, it gives you access to underneath, keep everything nice and organized, so that way you can keep this closed. Another thing I like about these doors is you're going to see there's not any of those latches that you have to deal with, those cheap plastic latches. They went ahead and put on a little metal tab there and a pretty darn strong magnet, you know, to help you hold it up. Sabre and Forest River always want to remind you they are pet friendly. Leash latch for your furry little friend. The step above steps, so essentially, you know, these just go up, fold into the door and snap in. And that's what they're going to look like kind of in that stow and go mode when you're traveling down the road. They got the LED lights to hang through the Sabre, and then to get them out, all you're going to do is pull that tab. Let me use my other hand. And then boom. Just like that. Vacuum bonded sidewall, so a little bit nicer sidewall for you. Dual axle for this model. And then you're going to see here where they have those little Solaire tabs. So that means that they do come prepped for a slide topper. And if you're not familiar with what a slide topper is, that's what this is right here. So you see it's a little piece of awning that goes over the top of that slide, and it really protects it from, you know, debris, pine needles, you know, tree branches, anything like that. It runs you about $700 a piece for all the slides that you want to put it on. But that's money well spent if you don't want to, you know, get on top of the camper every single time you go in and out and closing these slides to make sure there's nothing in there that could potentially pop the seal, you know, and cause a bad day. So this is going to be your outside kitchen. You get tons of storage. You have 3 pull-out drawers, all of which are looking like that. You do get a little sink over here, just kind of a get-her-done sink, but it is plumbed in, so it's not that bowl that you have to constantly dump. A couple outlets, and then you got some storage, you know, right here. That's all going to be one piece with 3 different doors. Some clicker lights, which I didn't turn on, but, you know, you get the idea. It's nice and sunny out. And then the refrigerator, you know, you can easily fit probably, I would say, a 36-pack of apple juice, no problemo. And then for cooking, since they didn't put a griddle, you know, or a grill, you know, right hack here directly, they do have the LP Quick Connect, so you have access, you know, to your propane. That's going to be where that yellow tab is. So that's pretty nice to have. Swinging around the back, you have some incredible storage back here. So this is just awesome. Not many campers are boasting this, you know, that's for sure. And again, shows off some of that construction quality. And then you have a little mesh net with the side entrance, you know, right there as well to keep some things from rattling around back here. And again, it's got that magnet latch holding that door up. Mirrored finished glass window. Lippert on-the-go ladder, that's what that is. So you purchase it, I think it's like $300, but essentially it's a ladder that hooks onto there, so that way you can get on top of this fully walkable roof, you know, walk around, check your slides, check your seals, do all your maintenance items. And then all Sabres are coming with the observation camera. So that's nice to have. Basically, hooks up to your phone. You download that LCI app. You can see what's going on behind you, while you're driving down the road. There's going to be the side entrance for what I just showed you here in the back. Again, all 3 slides on this side are all prepped for a slide topper. $700 a piece. This is going to be your sewer dump valve. So right there, that's going to be where you're hooking up your sewer, and dumping that. Your 50 amp connection. Dual axle. Back end of your hot water heater. And then the back side of your pass-through storage. And then right here is going to be a docking station, so it's got really everything in one place. You have your cable and satellite hookups. You have an outside shower with access to hot and cold water, along with a hose in case you're dirty, hitting the trails. You just want to kind of brush off before you, go inside. Place to put in your potable water, your city water connection, your freshwater connection, antifreeze inlet, so that's nice for winterization. And then your 2 black tank flushes. If you're not familiar with the black tank flush, it's basically a sprinkler system there. For the black tank, so for the poop tank, and that helps knock off the TP and anything else that might be remaining, keep it nice and flush and keep it moving for you. And then your winterization, your valve right there, help you winterize. Another door for your other propane bottle. This is going to be the control for your auto leveling. It does remember where your hitch height is. The docking lights on and off. It's got 2 boxes for 2 batteries, along with your solar charge controller. So that just lets you know that the solar panel is working and what kind of voltage that you're getting. Your spare tire. And then, like I thought, they had the Rhino box here up front. But guys, I hope you guys liked the tour. Hope you consider hitting that like and subscribe button for me. Again, it was the 2023 Sabre 350BH. My name is Hunter. Have a great night. See ya.